Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. As always, a free way to support the channel is by leaving a thumbs up or leaving a comment because it does help with the algorithm, and thank you to all the algo people out there. You have not gone unnoticed. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. It says, after tearing through $27,000 for the first time ever, only a few hours before, the price of Bitcoin briefly surged past $28,000 on Sunday morning as the leading cryptocurrency's recent meteoric rise continues. Bitcoin's market value now exceeds 500 billion US dollars. Recently, Bitcoin has been leaving a string of broken records in the wake after passing the psychological barrier of $20,000 for the first time. That was only the 16th of December. It feels like it was like months away at this point. In the last several days, Bitcoin seems to have found yet another gear, breaking through $25,000 on Friday night for the first time, going through $26,000 on Saturday, like a hot poker through one-ply tissue. I have never heard that phrase in mind. I thought it was going to be like a hot knife through butter or through a Beanie Baby. I don't know. Roughly half a day later, Bitcoin surged past 27,000 before reaching, I think we went 28,400 or something like that. When we did it. So the major news of I assume the next day and a half until we pass by that number, is that Bitcoin has passed by 28,000 US dollars. And at the same exact time, a lot of people are rejoicing because we passed by Visa, Walmart, Samsung, and like a whole bunch of other companies that are also there, but they don't have the kind of swing in the name as Visa and MasterCard and Samsung actually do. So we are doing extremely well in the market right now. What's this one right here? Yeah. It says Bitcoin to hit $30,000 and its longest monthly winning streak pullbacks won't be big. I think the current number that we're aiming for is $30,000. I don't know how anyone at this point could be skeptical or lightly skeptical or whatever skeptical. I saw a couple people a couple of days ago. I had it in one of my thumbnails for the video. It was like, next stop 30,000, and everyone was like, that's not going to happen. Prices are going to fall back down. I'm waiting for a $12,000 Bitcoin, and I was like, well, you're going to be waiting for a very long time because it's probably not going to happen. I think 30,000 is the next actual target. Of course, there are going to be some movebacks, and because we hit 28,400, moved back a tiny bit, but I assume prices will probably try to continue higher. 30,000 seems to be the number also that's being mimicked around in different articles and by different analysts as to where it seems the next stop is, logically, because 30 has to come before any other number. But I expect when we hit 30, that's when we may, M-A-Y, no one knows, start to see some kind of pullbacks, because I think people are going to try and test to see exactly how low the price will go before it starts bouncing back up again. I'm not expecting an $18,000 Bitcoin. I'm not even expecting a $24,000 Bitcoin. But I think we're going to see some type of a lowering in movements until we can try and bounce off of it. But then also, at this point, if you really look around and if you've been paying attention to a lot of the news that we've been getting, apparently we are so undervalued right now that even this one, I think it says it right here. Michael Vanderpuppa says we're going to hit $40,000, and I think 100,000 is the actual target. We can't hit it overnight because that'll really show that the market is completely overextended, but we need to keep going up, falling back down to see that we've hit that bottom that everyone keeps talking about so that we can propel ourselves a lot higher. Because if everything in the news that has been happening is going to continue to take place, and I think that we are definitely on track for $100,000, I'm not sure why anybody would be skeptical of that at this point. It just doesn't make a lot of sense how anyone would be like, oh wait, no, it's definitely not going to take Bitcoin at 100,000. I told someone in the comment section the last couple of days, I don't think people realize that the word isn't that I'm not afraid, but I see people talking back to me as if I'm a child, and they think that I simply won't respond back to them in some sort of way. So I don't get why people call me stupid. I've been called stupid when I said that Bitcoin was going to go to 10,000. When I said 15,000 is looking likely. When I said, yeah, we're probably going to get to 30,000. I don't get the need for name calling, but just understand that if you say something negative against me, I'm going to clap back, because I'm not one of these people who's going to simply. Prominent crypto strategist and trader Michael Vanderpuppa says Bitcoin is gearing up for a run to $40,000. as it continues to register new all-time highs. In a new tweet, Vandapapa told his 91,000 followers that Bitcoin can post gains of over 50% as it trades around 27,000 US dollars. He said, Bitcoin breaking upwards even more as it's approaching my second Fibonacci point of interest around 25,800. The higher we go, the higher the next impulse move will bring us. If 25,800 is a temporary top, the next impulse could bring Bitcoin towards $40,000. It's all but certain that it's going to happen. And we'll also discuss why a little bit later in the actual video, because people really aren't even into the market right now, but that's neither here nor there. So as it stands, yeah, we keep breaking new all-time highs. I'm really looking to. Today's the 28th. A lot of people kept on making. I don't know if they were jokes or what they really were. They were like, yeah, on the 25th we're gonna hit 25,000, 27th 28,000, and then on the 28th we did hit 28,000. So if we end up hitting 30,000 on the 30th, well then, gosh darn it, that's absolutely ridiculous because well, we can't really hit 40,000 on the 40th. Anyway, that's all the price news. I saw no altcoin news, price-wise. Like zero. Absolutely none. We usually have some days where it's like Litecoin is doing this, Ethereum looks like it's going to be doing that. Where's XRP going? Everything was just focused on Bitcoin, at least at the moment. Maybe during the rest of the day, if prices end up going in some type of different direction, we'll see something. Anyway, that's the price news. And without further ado, let's move on. In a bit of a news I missed, but it's still incredibly relevant news. Binance, one of the world's largest cryptocurrency exchanges by volume, has incorporated segregated witness, or SegWit, support for Bitcoin deposits. The SegWit support was extended to deposits on Christmas Eve. Binance said in an official statement, the protocol upgrade was initially enabled only for withdrawals. Effective immediately, Binance users can transfer funds to a SegWit BECH32 address by selecting the BTC SegWit network. They explained, please note SegWit should help reduce fees. However, if you incorrectly send incompatible assets to the address, your funds will not be recoverable and will result in a permanent loss. They have to say that simply because I'm pretty sure tons of people are not going to be paying attention. And as always, if you're sending something anywhere, make sure to double, triple, quadruple check. You are now dealing with something that could potentially be the next world's currency, so don't let it disappear on you. For those of you who don't know, back in 2017, there was a huge ruckus within the cryptocurrency space. It was that people were trying to upgrade Bitcoin and other people were trying not to upgrade Bitcoin. And there were different ideas as to how we could upgrade Bitcoin and how we could reduce fees and how we could put more transactions into the block and how we could do so and so. SegWit was one of those proposals. And as such, the people who did not care for SegWit ended up creating Bitcoin Cash. That's when Bcash was created, simply as a way to say, hey, no, we have another way to be able to upgrade Bitcoin and ours is the correct way. Look at how that worked out. So SegWit has now been activated on Binance. I assume this is going to kind of slowly trickle out. It's simply because as Bitcoin gets further and further adopted and accumulated by more institutions or whatever, the other upgrades and proposals kind of have to be used at this point. SegWit, Lightning Network, which is weird because remember I was just like, we hadn't had Lightning Network news in a very long time and then it started popping back up again. I think they're looking, listen, we're at the point now where you have to make Bitcoin do something a little bit quicker, a little bit faster, a little bit more secure. So yeah, they finally implemented SegWit. I think there was one other cryptocurrency exchange. It wasn't Coinbase. It wasn't the Gemini twins. It was some other one. But I assume they're also going to roll this out as well. And I still give it around 2 to 3 years before we hear about actual Lightning integration, which will kind of be the end all for many other altcoins. If your promise of your coin is that you can do 3,000 transactions per second, well, Bitcoin will be able to do 3 million transactions per second. So yeah, it was very, very popular news. News like this doesn't ever really make it into the foreground front of the news in many other places, simply because I think that people, not that they don't care, but like you don't, whatever. Anyway, I find it fascinating simply because we're going to have better and quicker Bitcoin transactions on different cryptocurrency exchanges and also eventually 1 million transactions per second because of Lightning. And without further ado, let's move on. Is this the same one? What's this one? Nope. There are now 2 million Ethereum locked up in the first stage of Ethereum's network upgrade, known as Ethereum 2.0. As of writing, just over 2 million Ether were locked up in Ethereum 2.0. As Ethereum's current price of 612, well, that is a bit outdated. This is worth $1.2 billion worth of Ether. This also means that the threshold of staked Ether necessary to kick off Ethereum 2.0 into action has been surpassed by 380%. This is according to Dune Analyst. It took about 45,000 transactions to get to this point, and I knew they had a chart. Ethereum's actually a lot higher than 612 right now. It is doing extremely well. It's actually one of the only coins doing extremely well, and now at the time of me making this video, something must have happened behind the scenes that I am currently unaware about, but it looks like it's trying to push towards $1,000 per coin. So we get more Ether locked up all the time. I don't know if it's in this, probably not in this video. I'm going to try and make another video after this one. I don't know if I already said that because there's a lot of news today as well, as you can imagine. A lot of the institutional interest seems to be focusing around, of course, Bitcoin, but I'm getting smidges of Ethereum inside there as well. And I mentioned before in one of my other videos that the entire value prospect at the moment for Ethereum is buying it up, locking it up, and making some type of a huge amount of passive income. And thank you very much to all the people who told me that my math was terribly wrong the other day when I was explaining how much you could get for, I mean, it said it on the screen. So I was like, okay, that's, anyway, cool. I'm sure we're going to get a lot more Ether locked up as time goes on. I think when we start seeing like really huge transactions at once, so I'm pretty sure people are locking up like 15 Ether, 700 Ether. But when we start getting like 350,000 Ether locked up at one point, that'll clearly be from an institution. And that should also push Ethereum's price further in the future. There we go. I was all going to say that as one word and then make any sense like Fthuther. Anyway, that's the Ethereum news. And let's move on. Now, this is a bit of news I missed, but it's still quite relevant. So do not let this happen to you. English singer and songwriter Lily Allen turned down a gig that would have paid her 200,000 Bitcoin in 2009. That's worth more than $4.7 billion at today's rate. It's not funny. It's actually pretty sad. According to a report by NME in December 2017, Lily once turned down the opportunity to play a gig and be paid in hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin. Allen revealed the missed gig in a tweet published in 2014 when the price of Bitcoin was still under $1,000. Wow. Apparently she wrote, and I do quote, "as if." Allen said when asked to perform a live concert for the little known cryptocurrency, can you imagine how angry you would be at yourself and at your life if someone offered you $4.7 billion to sing on stage for an hour? And you were like, no, why would I do that? She blamed herself at the time for refusing the gig and hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin. I'm sorry, because it's the whole hindsight thing. It's this really weird. Thousands of Bitcoin worth millions when the tweet was published. Here's a tweet from 2014. It said, about 5 years ago, someone asked me to stream a gig. Stream a gig. Wow. Live on Second Life. Oh my gosh. For hundreds of thousands of Bitcoins, as if I said #idiot, #idiot. Not really sure. Here's the actual article, another article from 2017. Lily Allen turned down the chance to become a billionaire, become richer than, I can only imagine what the name is. I'm going to say Elon Musk or what's the other guy? The guy with the glasses. He's old. Computers. Stan Frank. Bill Allen. Bill Nye. I'm going to get it. William Taft. What's this guy's name? Oh gosh, I can feel the comment section like I can't remember this guy's name. Bill Microsoft. Will the point is, a couple days ago, this was supposed to have gone into a news I missed, but I missed the news. Kind of hindsight, man. Complete hindsight. I actually wonder if she's buying up Bitcoin right now, because that's the kind of situation where I'd be like, listen, I can't miss out again. Anyway, if someone ever comes to you and offers you 200,000 Bitcoin to do anything, man, just do it. Just don't say no. Anyway, that's the Lily Allen news. Let's move on. The Lily Allen news, as if there's like a daily thing on this channel. Okay, here's the interesting one. I mean, they're all interesting, but you know what I'm saying. It says 3 years ago, Bitcoin prices were just cooling off from a surge to an all-time high of $20,000. The altcoins had yet to peak, but this would come in the first week of January. Fast forward 3 years, and Bitcoin's prices are just cooling off from the new all-time high of 28,400 on yesterday. Those that stood their ground and battled through the brutal 2-year bear market will have done well, but many have FOMO'd into cryptocurrencies in 2017, possibly getting burnt in the process during the who's writing this? What is this all about? According to Skew Analytics, taking data from Google Trends, there have been no spikes in interest in retail markets during this Bitcoin rally. It says 2017 versus 2020, retail interest hasn't surged. ICOs were a big driver of crypto fever back in 2017 as new projects and blockchains appeared almost daily. Heavy-handed regulation quashed most of them the following year, and altcoins crashed, many of which have never recovered. Discussion with my friend in New York. We were talking about how Bitcoin had gone to 25,000, 27,000. I go to take a nap. I wake back up. It's at 28,000. It's always this kind of thing where I need to take more naps because every time I wake up, Bitcoin is at a new all-time high. The really weird part is that in 2017, if Bitcoin moved to 12,000, it was in every single news publication. 17,000, every single place. When it hit 19,000, people had completely lost their minds wondering if we could actually get to $20,000. But there's a very major difference between now and then. It's the actual coverage of Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency market. I'm noticing it. I'm pretty sure you're noticing it as well. It's just not on the news. My speculation was that if you don't know this, well, here's a little lesson in how the world actually works. Media within the United States is actually owned by, I believe, just 2 or 3 families. That's not a joke. You can look it up. It's not a tinfoil hat moment. It's that during the 70s, they were able to start, these very rich families were able to start acquiring smaller news networks, which then became bigger news networks because they were affiliated with one of the larger brands. But it's gotten to the point, I think in the early 2000s or something like that, there were some bills that were signed that made it so that like it wasn't listed as a monopoly, but it's still kind of monopoly-esque. And basically, all of the news, once again, is owned by just 3 families across the board. You can even look it up, whether left or right. You can really look it up. One family will own the entire spectrum of news because it's the way that they actually end up making money. So it's also another thing to sit there and go, well, who's giving us our news then? The other part is, in 2017, Bitcoin had a name in 2017, but it wasn't really a name. This new thing that came and popped up in front of everyone's eyes that was making all this money, of course, was going to make it into the news because it was the new hype thing. It was no other real crazy, miraculous money news that was happening in 2017, except for this thing that was $900 and therefore went up to $20,000 and therefore did you have some, did you buy some, did you so-and-so? We've gotten to the point now where we've had a lot of wealthy, rich families coming forward announcing that they're into Bitcoin, they're buying up Bitcoin. And once again, all these people know each other. So I can only assume that these 3 families probably, here's an assumption, are and have been buying up Bitcoin for a while. But it's no longer that Bitcoin is this speculative asset. It's Bitcoin is going to go to 200,000. Bitcoin is going to go to 300,000. Bitcoin in 12 years is going to be worth $4.5 million. Well, do you tell normal people that you're also buying this up? Do you create hype in the market for something that you're trying to buy? No. You do everything you can to make sure that if there is news about it, it's relatively negative. My friend said he was watching something, I don't know if it was on CNBC or something like that. It was some money segment of a cable channel that wasn't on normal TV, what have you. And basically they were discussing Bitcoin's price and stuff like that. And they were like, yeah, Tom, I'm a little skeptical. It hit 25,000, but I'm pretty sure we're going to pull back to 1,000. When normal people hear that and they don't really understand exactly what Bitcoin is, it drives them to go, oh, it did have a pretty major pullback. I don't think I'm going to put any money in that market. Knowing good and well that Bitcoin is not going to, there's no way on this planet. It's actually mathematically impossible for Bitcoin to fall back down to 1,000. You want to know why? Because of people. If I saw that Bitcoin dropped down to $3,000, I would empty my bank account and I would start selling property to be able to buy it. And that's not a joke. And I'm not the only one who would do the exact same thing. And even more so than that Bitcoin would be further concentrated in the hands of the mega ultra wealthy. And even more so, want to talk about it, Bitcoin did fall down to 3,000 this year. And look at where it's kind of gone. So it's all this news the point being, retail investors, everyday normal people, still are not in our market. The movements that we're seeing, and they're still small movements. Bitcoin is still hyper undervalued. If we're getting news that there were just a couple of addresses that accumulated 500,000 Bitcoin, a lot of the metrics that we end up getting for Bitcoin and accumulation is like, oh, this address now has over 1 Bitcoin. This address is holding between 1 to 10 Bitcoin. Oh, these 5 richest addresses now control or have accumulated over 500,000 Bitcoin since September. It's never like, oh, this person had none and now they have 1. This person has 1 and now they have 7, because usually the metric is always the increase from 1 to 10 somewhere within that actual range. So I still do not think, and I said this at the beginning of the year, that normal people, and that means your grandmother, your sister, your cousin, all these people who don't pay attention to crypto, they're not going to be told to get into cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin until it is completely out of their range. When they can no longer even think of owning an entire Bitcoin, because we're still at the point right now where people, not a lot of people, but there's still people who could be like, I'm going to buy an entire Bitcoin right now. That's still a thing. They want to make sure, you have to understand, once again, if Bitcoin is poised to become the #1 currency on the planet, you are doing everything you can to buy it up in complete silence. And I have this channel so that the silence is kind of broken and that other people can also get into the market as well. I've been telling you this for I don't know how long, and I say it again, I cannot ever tell you where to put your money, but gosh darn it, please follow the sign. So it's the same exact thing with Google Trends. In 2017, a lot of the news was that Google Trends for the word Bitcoin had spiked up so massively. Anything that said cryptocurrency, like it was all completely spiking. And I think it's basically because like even the people like I've seen, hello, new people, the new subscribers to the channel, I think I got 3 or 4 or 5,000, something like that within the last couple of weeks. That's still a minuscule number compared to how big all of this is actually going to be. This is why I mentioned before, I was like, if you got into Bitcoin at 19,000, you've definitely made some money. Now imagine the people who are going to get into Bitcoin when it's at 86,000. You've still made a lot of money. When Bitcoin goes to 115,000, you've made tons of money, and so have the people at 86,000. It's going to continue on this way until we hit those absurd numbers. Anyway, yeah. The retail interest is very low, but behind the scenes, understand that rich people at the moment don't care. When it costs thousands of dollars to be able to get 300,000 Satoshis, that's when other people will be like, yeah, you should get into this because I made tons of money. That was the news that we had also in 2017. How many times do we have the articles, I made millions of dollars, look at that Bitcoin millionaire? It was over and over and over, and it kind of gets into the psychological whatever of people to think, oh my gosh, I would also love to be that rich. Let me get into this market now. And that's why we saw so many people piling into it at 17,000 because they were so desperate to get to try and, make that same amount of money, not realizing that they should have gotten into it 2 years earlier when it was $200. So if you're here now, I'll say it once again, you are very lucky. You are far ahead of the curve. You are light years ahead of the curve, especially if those numbers for next year end up coming true. Anyway, let's move on from this topic. That's all the blah, 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 blah news. Let's move on. In news that surprised me as to why this was actually news, BlackRock, the world's largest asset management company with more than $7.8 trillion in assets under management, it's currently looking to hire a vice president, blockchain lead, according to a job listing posted on Tuesday. They said must have 1 year of experience in articulating the technology foundations of blockchain technology, including cryptographic hash functions, distributed network consensus mechanisms, and public-private key cryptography. Judging by the job description, while applicants must be deeply familiar with the inner workings of blockchain, one of their primary duties will be also the valuation of digital assets. And there's, I guess, the tweet for it right there. Nope, that's 2018. So this is why it kind of made me a little confused. We got news years ago that BlackRock was actually into Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And then for some reason, when I looked around for this news this morning, it was kind of noted that like they took a back seat and they don't really care for Bitcoin, but now they're looking to finally step into the actual seen. Here's the article from 2018. It says BlackRock CEO contradicts report of $6 trillion interest in Bitcoin. Keeping in mind, once again, what's the year that we kept on hearing that all these institutions were getting into Bitcoin? It was 2014. I do not think that this year alone, because of price movements upward, that Bitcoin has suddenly piqued their interest. They go, oh, I get it. It fell down to 3,000. Now it's at 28. Now is the time for me to enter the market. I think that's all complete, absolute nonsense. Even this one, this is also from 2018. It says BlackRock begins exploration of Bitcoin. This is the news that we had in 2018. I'm certain that we had news before that they were actually getting into Bitcoin, and I assume that maybe spooked them or spooked their investors or CEOs or IEOs or whatever other letters there are out there, pretty much saying, hey, make sure that you keep this kind of hush-hush. So as it stands right now, one can assume, based off of the job listing, that BlackRock is looking to get into the cryptocurrency space. I assume they've been here for a while and probably have been accumulating, just simply behind the scenes. When these companies, I also think that a lot of companies have been accumulating just simply through subsidiaries, because you can have a subsidiary that's not really tied to you per se, but they can be accumulating Bitcoin and don't necessarily have to go public with how much Bitcoin that they're actually holding, even though you own that company and therefore you also own that Bitcoin as well. And I'm pretty sure this is happening in mass around the world. So yeah, the news being a remimic of something from 2017-18 is back in the news. Of course, BlackRock is into Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Did you think that they weren't? Like, what is the... I don't know. Anyway, so we'll start seeing some news about that relative. I give it the middle of next year. They'll have hired someone, and we'll start hearing whispers about them accumulating. This is how it always happens. For those of you who are new here, I'll tell you right now, we always get news, and it's usually 2 or 3 people behind the scenes somewhere. It's, those sources. Sources have said, but for some reason within the cryptocurrency space, those sources are always correct. And I'm not really sure why. Maybe we're just really lucky. It's always 2 to 3 sources who end up telling us. They told us about PayPal. They told us about the, not the Rockefellers. What was the other one? We keep getting news that like, oh yeah, this may happen and it's going to happen on the 24th. And everyone's like, okay, sure. And then the 23rd at nighttime, we end up hearing that it ended up happening. So just assume that eventually we're going to hear that BlackRock is looking to accumulate $1 billion worth of Bitcoin. Just, assumption. Moving on. And to finish things off, in sure, why not news, for those of you not looking at the screen, it says B2C2 stops XRP trading with US clients. We keep getting news every day at this point that XRP is being delisted or trading is being stopped for US traders on different platforms, but do you know the issue? I don't know B2C2. Have you ever used B2C2? Probably not. And I know mathematically there's probably one person who was like, I use it. Well, that's great and dandy. There's so much desperate news about XRP delistings or people not being able to trade with XRP. And if you read between the lines or just even read the actual title, they're stopping it for people within the United States. How many people within the United States are trading on B2C2? 3? Okay, cool. That's absolutely wonderful. I saw an article talking about that Coinbase is not looking into delisting XRP. It's more of they're talking to regulators, yada, 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 until we actually get news or Brian Armstrong goes onto Twitter and he's like, XRP. That's the point where everyone can start to reevaluate their portfolios. Now, I mean, listen, do it right now. If that's what makes you comfortable and all that other stuff, by all means, please go for it. But a lot of the news the last couple of days has just been trying to scare people, and this is why I think also prices have fallen. If you get news from someone else on YouTube or anywhere else that XRP is being delisted, but you don't really read into it, it's only. Have you ever heard of B2C2? What was the other one that we heard a couple days ago? It wasn't Bitstamp. There was some other name that wow. It was called like Dirty Sock or it had a really weird name, and I was like, no one's using that exchange in the first place. Anyway, the XRP trading stopping delisting news continues, but until we hear from Binance or Coinbase, and Gemini doesn't have it because Gemini is a little boring, then that's when we enter panic mode. But besides that, Sure. Please, B2C2 by all means. I mean, I was using you every day, so please relist my XRP. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters, Professor Wally from Gunbot University, Crypto Stahl, George Montoya Wise Link, not TMI, Conan Don't Skip Leg Day, Snacky Chan, Tolik Banan, Auspicious Agile and Blockchain, Navarro Williams, David James, Attila the Han, Yasha Harari, Oscar Maldonado, Utopia 569, Moonman High XRP, Joshua Vineyard, Martin Stoyer, Nostromo, John Sarson, the Animal Reader, Bibliophobia, Todd Mullis, Adam Graysick, Moher Maroni, Massive Ventures in Thailand, Jared Schneider, Wise Night Owl, 242 to the World, Bankroll Network, Crypto Artist, Cole D3D, Damien Setsuna, Richie Rich III, Vlad the Impaler, Paxis, Nick Mann, Jalavori, Anthony Charles, Jem Garner, Jamie Fox, Minting Coins, Millie Hishach, Everyday, Kelsey Leg Day, Yes to Crypto, Bodie McButtface, Anytime Fitness, Monk's Corner Staff, Arfmedic17, Bake Me a Cake, Tigera, Matronisa, On Crypto with Lana, Crayola, Michelle, URL, and Bolero Bastos. Thank you all very, very, very much for your support. Thank you to all the new Patreon members. Every single day, I keep seeing more and more of you. Thank you very, very much for your support. Thank you to everyone who left the thumbs up. Thank you to everyone who left the comment. Thank you to everyone who has a clicker of affiliate links. And thank you to everyone who's just still here. At the moment, where the price is, Bitcoin is at 26,820 US dollars. Here's the actual tick up right here to 28,400. Of course, it's going to be a bit of a pullback. Just that's how the market works. Ethereum is up by 13%. It's currently at 731 US dollars. Is a pump by itself overnight. Usually the entire market has been following Bitcoin. Ethereum is doing something quite special and interesting at the moment. I wonder what this is going to translate into. I think we just need to break that. It's kind of the same thing with Bitcoin at 20,000. I think we just need to break that $1,000 barrier. Just psychologically to get past it, because I'm tired of reading news that Ethereum's going to do it. Ethereum Omega there. Ethereum's going to XRP is down by 2.3%. It's currently at 28 cents. I feel like 25 cents is the bottom for it. Just a really weird feeling. I don't think it's going to go down lower than 25 cents unless we end up getting a Binance or a Coinbase delisting news. Polkadot is up by almost 13%. Chainlink is up by 14%. Anything else crazy? Celsius is up by 10%. OKB is up by 15%. Wonderful. Tron is up by 7%. Hanging on by the skin of its overalls. Neo's up by 5. Aave's up by 11. IOTA's up by almost 9%. Oh, look at that. Got a little bit more volume. Wonderful for them. UrnFi is up by 7. Uniswap is up by 11. Kusama is up by 16. Still have no idea what Kusama is. I know she's an artist, but as far as the cryptocurrency, I don't know. Anyway, I do hope that you all enjoyed. Sorry if it seemed like I was rushing through this video. My throat's hurting a bit. You may have noticed, I simply did not take a break on Christmas. I kept on making videos. I think I was doing a bit too much once again, but I never learn. What's the word? A glutton for punishment. I just don't ever really learn my lesson, but I should be taking it easy, especially, I mean, it's also the end of the year, but what are you going to do? I do hope you all enjoyed. I do hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope that it is absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.